The next match is the Steiners versus the WCW Tag Team Champions Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton. I loved it. This is, I think, one of the best matches I've seen all year. They've banned Paulie Dangerously from the arena this evening.
Yes.
The Steiners have come back after Scott Steiner was injured, and they are just a monster and monstrous team. They are so good in the ring, so brutal and knockabout. Bobby Eaton really comes out with a slightly resigned look of, this is going to be a long 20 minutes. You know, I feel like everyone's working very hard to win this money, and I feel that is going to come at my expense. Eaton and Arn are a really good pairing. They're both halves of two of the 80s best tag teams, the Midnight Express and then the Brain Busters, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. And they put them together, and often that sort of stuff doesn't work. You know, you're taking one from each and it doesn't. And this one, they had a great connection. Bobby Eaton, they've spent a year trying to make him a mid-card talent. And it's working. People like him. But he's never quite over and you don't feel he's going to go any further. As soon as you put him with Arn Anderson, he is a high-level tag team star. And it just comes together so well. His work in this period is phenomenal. That 1992 Dangerous Run, it's so good. This match is, I loved it. From the start to finish, it didn't let up. What it has in it, the action is brilliant. The Steiners are serious. Arn and Bobby are serious. Largely, I think, as well, because they want to get through it. Because they are very much like, I don't want to make a mistake. If I make a mistake, something terrible could happen. But what this really shows, this match, is tag team wrestling is not just two lots of singles wrestling matches together. It's an entirely different discipline, an entirely different art form. And there's so many lovely bits that just easy tags that are smooth, and it keeps the action flowing in a way that a singles match never can. And you see the beauty of tag team wrestling in this. And it's not all about going, they've pinned the wrong man, or I broke up the pin. It's just this lovely sort of flow where it seems like these guys are working together. It's hard to explain what I mean, other than I found it really beautiful and oddly moving, this match. Just watching them, do what they do. I think this match is not seen as a classic by any means, and that's because of the dusty finish that they stick at the end. So Rick is blinded by some powder that's thrown into his face by Arn Anderson, accidentally does a belly-to-belly suplex on the referee while he's blinded, and then he knocks Arn Anderson over the top rope to the floor before Scott does the Frankenstein and Bobby Eaton and pins him and wins the belt. And they say, nope, this will be an atrocity, says Jesse. Jesse went to Vietnam.
Yeah.
This would be an atrocity.
Agent Orange.
It's a strong word to use. And they return the belts to the Dangerous Alliance because Rick has obviously crushed the referee and he's thrown Arn Anderson over the top rope intentionally. I loved it as a match. I really, really did. I think it was brilliant. One of the things I enjoyed the most is there was a brief moment where for some reason they cut out of the action and they just do a slow zoom into a man sitting in the darkness with tinted specs on. He's sort of slumped alone in a seat with no one next to him. And he just comes in and he's just staring at the camera. Staring at you. And then it cuts back. And it's almost like they were going to go, this whole thing has been set up because we wanted to trap this serial killer.
Yeah.
And you were going to pull out and the police would get on either side and they'd go, phew, you can all stop now. We've got him. It's just such a bad shot to use.
He's just going to turn us up talking to the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, you found me.
If you can see me, that means my experiment has worked. What? I can hear you. I can see you. What year is it? What? Put the wrestling back on. Put
Rick Steiner's big orky body back on.
He does look like a Star Wars Gamorrean god who is not green, but just a flesh-coloured one.
Like some guys are like big, but they look like soft.
Yeah.
But he just looks so taut and solid.
He looks like a knuckle boy. Big knuckle. Big old hammy knuckle. With a little hat holding his ears in. Oh, man. The hat there that they have, I used to play rugby at school, and I have little ears like a mouse, like a beautiful mouse.
Mousy, beautiful mouse.
And I was really worried about my ears being all scuffed up and everything.
Up.
Yeah, so I'd seen Rick Steiner wrestling, and he had that ear protector.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking brilliant. That's a
great idea, yeah.
That's what they do. The rest to stop getting the bad cauliflower ears. So I ordered one of those. This is pre-internet as well. So imagine how difficult that was, ringing around like Mike Gatting's sports shop in Radlett, trying to get passed on. What, you want what? And just going, well, one of those ear protectors for rugby, and they're just tape. I want tape. No, I don't want tape. I want tape. I want an ear protector thing. Finally got one. The first day I wore it, what happened was I spent the entire thing where whenever I was in a scrum, someone would grab the front of it and they would just make my face just go into the floor.
Yes.
It was a living nightmare. It was a living nightmare. And I did not ever take it off for the sole reason that that when I first put it on, I was so ridiculed by everyone on my team that had I taken it off, it would have looked like I'd listened to them. So I spent a year just continually having my head pulled into the floor by anyone who wanted to do it. It's a living nightmare. Thanks a lot, Rick Steiner. I hope you fucking lose your nose.
Now look at this guy. He's all there, right? There's your college graduate from Michigan. Right there at his finest. Like I said, he reminds me of the Predator.
The US champion, Rick Rude, versus Ricky Steamboat.
All
with
the Rickies are here.
Ninja.
Yes.
The booing at the start of this when Rick Rude is trying to do his speech.
He could never be more over as he just everyone hates him.
Unbelievable.
He just can't do a speech. He can't do his job.
You can't hear him on television because the booing is so loud.
Yeah.
Often when you get that in the room, you go, it's insane.
Yeah.
But the way the ring is mic'd up,
you can hear it.
You can't hear him through the mic'd up ring. That might say more about WCW not being greatly professional.
Yeah, they've probably got a cheap mic, but
Yeah.
you know.
What I'd like to have right now.
Like I said, he reminds me of the Predator.
Yeah.
But Jesus Christ, I mean, talking about over, he tries to do it 3 times, can't do it. I've seen this happen with a wrestler called Zach Gibson, who comes out and he does, he's a Scouser and he works at NXT UK, and he will do his big thing about going soon to be the number one, and people boo the fuck out of him. And when that booing happens and it's so loud, to be in a room like that, it's overwhelming. And when someone is on a microphone and the booing is actually drowning it out, it's sort of like the room thrums.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant. How over you are. People will not let you speak. You know, you don't even hear that with Nazis. Nazis you always hear. Rick Rude and Zach Gibson booed to death. But the ninja is there, of course, Pete, to stop the interference in case Paulie Dangerously should turn up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Unfair advantage that Steamboat should not have. Steamboat is a career good guy. Why is he suddenly,
Shacked
getting
with a
henchmen?
ninja.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's I didn't like that. I mean, God knows, I didn't want anything bad to happen to him.
No.
And the way it turned out was disgraceful. But I think if Ricky had stuck to his guns, being the sort of person he was, none of this would have happened. This match again, this is the other match where they were given the $2,500 bonus. It's good. I thought this match was all right.
I thought it was a nice sort of psychological slow match kind of thing. It was quite a lot of, not a lot of build as you get to the end of the match, but I thought, Rude trying to flex through the pain. And I think Steamboat takes a sleeper hold quite well. He goes down in the storms. That's quite fun.
They would have some brilliant matches, and they'd actually feud throughout most of this year.
Right.
They'd culminate in, I think, Beach Blast 92. They end up having an Iron Man match.
Everything sounds like a drink in WCW. Beach Blast, Halloween Havoc. It sounds like drinks that appear around October
Peach Passion.
Yes.
It's I think this is a very underrated feud because what they are is they are two great 80s stars in the early 90s having a headline marquee feud. And it does seem, again, a step up from everyone else. It seems personal. It seems very heated. Yeah. And the two of them had some classics. Nobody ever talks about Rick Rude, Ricky Steamboat as being one of the great feuds. I really don't understand why no one is into this period of WCW. People say they are, but yet everything they do shows that they aren't. I just don't get it. There is a couple of really interesting bits here. Jesse Ventura has a running gag where he's going, I should start calling you J.R. Ewing, J.R. to Jim Ross. And he says to him at one point, he says, so you're going to get a cowboy hat? You're going to get a cowboy hat? And Jim Ross goes, I don't think so. I think I'll probably just stick with the shoes, maybe in 5 years' time. In 5 years' time, Jim Ross will never not have a cowboy hat on. Jesse seeing that.
The plan.
The man won't even talk to me, if you can imagine that, Jim Ross. And now that I look at you, if you had a cowboy hat, you would look just like J.R. Ewing. And the funny thing is, his initials are even JR.
That's the joke.
And the whole thing about that, it's a little bit like the Rick Steiner sportswear that I wear, is that Jim Ross must have been fearing that one day Jesse Ventura would come in and go, oh, J.R. Ewing, with your fucking cowboy hat. And 5 years ago, you're all like, and I didn't do it because of you. Didn't do it because of you. I was thinking of doing it anyway. It's a hard-fought match, and it turns out... I was in tears. I was just in tears. And, the ninja, it turned out to be Paulie Dangerously.
No, I know. I don't want to be lied to by a ninja. At the best of times.
I mean... And
the giveaway is the mobile phone. The ninja, if you're going to hide...
There are no depths that man will not sink to. To take a ninja.
To impersonate a ninja.
To impersonate a ninja.
Impersonate a friend of Steamboat.
I mean, because Steamboat, he's from Hawaii and ninjas are from Japan. But if you just saw Ricky Steamboat, you might think he was Japanese. So so that's sort of why the ninja's there.
A Medusa trying to, I think, fuck the ninja at one point.
Trying to. Yeah.
Ask him to do some sushi.
That's not what ninja does. It's not what ninja. He does.
That's what Paulie does.
We do see the unmasked ninja in the dressing room, and Missy Hyatt delivers a line. She goes, "Oh, it's Paulie Dangerously the ninja," and it cuts back to Jesse Ventura, who's just smiling like, "What the fuck was that?" He really amused by it.
The more I see Missy Hyatt on these WCW shows, the more I think she's fucking brilliant. She just adds this kind of like stupid kind of B-movie peril to everything.
Doesn't she?
And here's his dressing room. And I'm like, oh my God! Oh my gosh! That was Paulie Dangerously, and he was in a ninja outfit. Let's go back to the arena.
Just as we suspected, Paulie Dangerously was under that ninja costume.
Like I said, he reminds me of the Predator.
She did have a very, very brief run in the WWE, and I mean, like weeks long.
Right.
She was. It's odd because you do look back now and you sort of go, she's this strange character. But at the time, she was like thought of as being one of the most beautiful women in the world.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I know the 80s was strange and the early 90s and is not far off from the 80s, but it is funny. You do look back at she was the epitome of glamour in wrestling.
Yeah.
There was nobody else who was like Missy Hyatt. Just an amazing sort of decision to put that woman on the shows. I mean, astonishing.
I'm in for it.
And I have the results to the WCW Sexy Wrestler Contest. Now, everyone knows it should have been me, but my favorite wrestler won it. I mean, he looks great in his tights. He's got a great tan. And best of all, he's single. And he really is sexy. Congratulations, gorgeous. And now, let's go to the ring.